this Tuesday, February 6th, 2018. It is now 4:30. Before you stand, though, I'd just like to say it's a very, sadly to say, we had a sudden loss this past weekend. Our former city engineer, Stan DeStotney, passed away. So on his behalf of the redevelopment, I would like to give our condolences and prayers to his family, and may God bless them. And now, if you would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? And let's give an extra moment of silence in his remembrance to Stan DeStotney. Commissioner Myrick, could you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have a roll call on our commissioners.
Soto Presley.
Here.
Kaspricki.
Here.
Navejas.
Here.
Myrick.
Here.
Hopperidge.
Here, for the record, we have all 5 are present tonight. Number 3, declaration of conflict of interest. Okay, number 4 is communications.
None were received.
Okay, and number 5 is our homebound conditional forgivable loan approval. Looks like we have 2 applicants.
The applicant, David Armenta, withdrew, but our other applicant is here.
Okay, can he come forward? Welcome.
Hi.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ramirez. How did you hear about our program?
I'm sorry?
How did you hear about our program?
My sales person told me about it.
Your realtor?
Yeah.
May I ask who is your realtor?
Erica Garcia?
Okay. Are you a first-time home buyer?
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions for Mr. Ramirez Gutierrez?
Not at this time.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the homebound conditional forgivable loan for Mr. Roberto Ramirez Gutierrez
Yep.
at 6523 Tennessee Street in Hammond.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the homebound conditional forgivable loan approval for Robert C. Ramirez Gutierrez, 6523 Tennessee. We have a roll call on that, please.
Soto Presley.
Yes.
Kaspricki.
Yes.
Navejas.
Yes.
Myrick.
Yes.
Hopperidge.
Yes, motion passes, 5 yes.
Welcome to Hammond.
Congratulations.
Good luck.
You may be excused if you like. Okay, number 6, subordination request approval for Caroline Schneider at 7337 Jackson.
She's present?
Good evening.
No.
I, for one, am thankful to whoever included these guidelines in our packet. Thank you very much. And this simplifies the situation very much. And just looking on a very informative packet here, there's no cash out in this
Nope.
situation.
No.
You're just improving your rate and term to save $100 a month, basically?
Yep.
That's the situation?
Yes.
It being that we have the guidelines before us and it fills them, unless anybody has questions?
No.
Mr. President, I move we approve this subordination request for Caroline Schneider at 7337 Jackson.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the subordination request approval. Caroline Schneider at 7337 Jackson. We have a roll call on that.
Soto Presley.
Yes.
Kaspricki.
Yes.
Navejas.
Yes.
Myrick.
Yes.
Hopperidge.
Yes, motion passes, 5 yes. Okay, number 7 is a request for approval of the sale and related affordability assistance allowance for the NSP 3 property at 538 169th Street.
Mr. President, members of the commission, we have a contract to sell the property that was just rehabbed under a NSP 3 program at 538 169th Street for the listing price of $137,000. The prospective buyer is Lester American, and we have taken his application, and he qualifies under the NSP 3 program.
Purchase price is 137,
Yes, sir.
which is the appraised value.
Yes. Both appraisals came in, both appraisers stated 137 as the price, so.
Dennis, it's a gray house, it's on the south side of the street?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that, we had the problems with the windows or something a long time ago. It was a thing about the windows a long time ago. When you took out the windows,
No, that was 100 and
okay, never mind.
different one.
Okay.
That was a historic property.
Okay, but I know I've passed this one quite a few times. Anyone have any questions?
No.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the request for the sale and related affordability assistance for the NSP 3 property at 538 169th Street.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any questions or further discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Soto Presley?
Yes.
Caspricky?
Yes.
Navejas?
Yes.
Myrick?
Yes.
Poppridge?
Yes, motion passes 5 yes. Okay, number 8 is a request for approval of the sale and related affordability assistance allowance for Parish View, lot number 16, which is 3114 170th Drive.
Like, if I can ask you to make one correction, and that is to delete related affordability assistance allowance, because there is none for the Parish View lots. They obtain their down payment assistance at the time that they finish or complete the construction of their home. But we do have a contract and earnest money from Lakeisha Hurst and her husband Brandon C. Smith for lot number 16, also known as 3114 170th Drive. They are both Hammond residents, currently Hammond residents, and their intent is, after they buy this lot, to build as soon as weather permits.
Again, came in, purchase price, same as appraised value?
Yeah, we don't, this is a given price. There is no.
Standard pricing throughout?
Right.
Yeah.
16,000 per lot.
I don't have a problem with it, anybody?
Nope.
Mr. President, I move for the approval of the sale for Parish View Lot 16, 3114 170th Drive.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Soto Presley?
Yes.
Caspricky?
Yes.
Navejas?
Yes.
Myrick?
Yes.
Poppridge?
Yes, motion passes 5 yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, number 9 is an approval agreement to purchase real estate with Park Development for 628 Hoffman Street.
Commissioners, you'll remember that Park Development were they the only? They were the only bidder for this property. We had prepared a purchase agreement that they had sent back with some minor modifications in the language. I would ask that, and the purchase price, just for the record, was $310,000. They're going to do some due diligence, which requires getting IDEM approval and things like that, and there might be remediation necessary. So I'm just not 100% satisfied with the language they've proposed in that paragraph of the agreement, and but I think with some minor modifications, which really won't affect the substance of the agreement, will be there. So I would ask that you approve you approve the purchase agreement for the $310,000 conditioned upon working out some of the technical legal terms.
Anybody?
Attorney Westlake, can we just do a so moved instead of trying to repeat back what you just said?
That'd be fine.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further questions or discussion for Attorney Westland on that? Okay, roll call.
Soto Presley?
Yes.
Casperky?
Yes.
Navejas?
Yes.
Myrick?
Yes.
Poppridge?
Yes, motion passes, 5 yes. Okay, number 10 is an approval of the second amendment to the agreement to purchase real estate for the Menards project.
So, I mean, we've already approved this purchase, right, with Menards?
Yes, members of the commission, inside your package there, this is the second amendment to the original agreement that was approved on May 18th, 2017, so they just need some additional due diligence. So in the updated second amendment, they have until, they're given the extension date to April 13th, 2018.
So ultimately, this amendment's just an extension.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. President, I move for the approval of the second amendment to the agreement to purchase real estate for the Menards project.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the approval of the second amendment to the agreement to purchase real estate for the Menards project. We have a roll call on that.
Soto Presley?
Yes.
Casperky?
Yes.
Navejas?
Yes.
Myrick?
Yes.
Poppridge?
Yes, motion passes, 5 yes. Number 11 is an approval of recommendation for a bid award of 6736 Alabama.
Members of the commission, inside your packet, you will see a response to the request for proposal for the 6736 Alabama Avenue property, which was advertised for RFP a little bit over 30 days ago. We received one response, and that response was from HC3, which was formerly the Hessville Business Association, which is a non-for-profit. They are very interested in acquiring the property, and they have several partnerships that are willing to assist them with redeveloping the property. They are working with Indiana Landmarks, Brad Miller, for his guidance and support throughout the renovation process. Also, they have several letters of support. There are two on there, well, there are actually more than two. They had quite a few letters of support, including a letter of support from Frank J. Marvan. There are several members in the audience from HC3. At this time, I'd like to call Amy Radelick up so that she can further explain some of the plans that they have for the property.
Good evening, everyone.
Welcome.
Thank you. HC3 has been able to talk with several businesses. We got Home Depot. The amount of support that we have gotten for this building is incredible. We've got the Home Depot team. We've got PBG Paints. We have local union roofers, Union 26. We have the electrical union. Some of the things that we want to do with this building is offer veteran support services. Thanks to Frank Marvan, he's going to be able to start that program through that building. Tutoring services for our youth, having adult advancement in the workforce, offering them resume building classes, offering them knowledge of how to navigate online application process, things in that nature. We have hired a grant writer to help us fund some of these things as far as education, getting computers within the building, to help educate our youth and to help veterans apply for support services if need be. Like I said, amount of support that we've gotten is pretty amazing. We were the only bidders for this building. HC3 has always saw this building as a beautiful architectural building. While others may have seen it as an eyesore, we saw the potential it could have in the community. And we would love to be able to extend our mission and vision within the community by obtaining this building.
Members of the commission, staff has met with the members of HC3, and some of the things that stood out was their willingness, and actually they're being very adamant about maintaining the historic integrity of the building, working to make it a solid asset within the community. As many of you know, the property is challenged with very limited parking, so the use for it is somewhat limited. This is pretty much taking on some of the former use, so it's not like they're going to purchase it and do something that's completely different from what it was. It is located in a residential area, and this is a very good use for a very good reuse for the building. It's sat vacant for quite a while, and the fact that they're coming forward with partnerships and to renovate and with ideas to renovate the current facility is just completely amazing. From day one, when they decided they wanted to acquire the building, they just hit the ground running. They were very interested in working with the community, seeing what the community wanted. They're a very strong asset within the community, so staff is recommending that we approve the bid submission from HC3.
Mr. President, I make a motion for the approval of recommendation for bid award of 6736 Alabama Avenue.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the approval recommendation for the bid award of 6736 Alabama Avenue to HC3. Can we have a roll call on that?
Soto Presley? Yes. Kasperky?
Yes.
Navejas?
Yes.
Myrick?
Yes.
Poppridge?
Yes, motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, Commissioner
Good luck to
Capica.
you.
Thank you for your support.
Sounds like a lot of great ideas.
Thank you.
All right, number 12 is authorization for the petition to rezone 7527 Kennedy Avenue.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Poe.
7527 Kennedy Avenue is the old FOP building. And the Redevelopment Commission purchased that property and working with a developer to develop the hockey rinks. The property is currently residentially zoned, and we need to have it rezoned to the S1 open space and recreational category. So we just need authorization from the Redevelopment Commission as the owner to proceed with that, and I believe Cynthia has a document for you to sign, Mr. President.
I'm sorry, I missed, what was his intent with the property?
This is for the Ice Cube hockey rink project.
I didn't hear that part, okay. Mr. President, I move we approve the Ice Cube. Mr. President, I move for the authorization for the petition to rezone 7527 Kennedy.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the authorization for the petition to rezone 7527 Kennedy Avenue. We have a roll call on that.
Soto Presley?
Yes.
Kasperky?
Yes.
Navejas?
Yes.
Myrick?
Yes.
Poppridge?
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Okay, number 13 is an approval of the amended management agreement for LaSalle Hotel.
Members of the commission, this amendment, you'll recall, we entered into a management agreement with Mr. Karubis back in November to manage the LaSalle Hotel through January 31st. Most of the residents, I think their last count, there was somewhere between 1 and 4 that were still there, that are still, attempting to relocate. So this amendment keeps Mr. Karubis in place as the manager through the time that either we don't need him anymore or March 6th, essentially another month. I don't think we're gonna need them that long, but, at least we have somebody over there on a daily basis until then.
So again, just an extension of the same thing we had before.
Well, the compensation is a little bit different. Before, as he was managing, he was basically managing it, and his compensation was that he could keep the rents. Essentially, he was continuing to operate it through January. Now, because there's only between one and a handful, let's say, of people there, that really wasn't fair. So you'll see on paragraph 3, the total sum of $1,000. So, and Mr. Karubis is working with us to remove his personal property, that there was an illness that took place in January, so he didn't get all of his personal property out. So he asked that that be included as well, so that's also in paragraph 3.
Mr. President, I move for the approval of the amended management agreement for the LaSalle Hotel.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the approval of the amended management agreement for LaSalle Hotel. We have a roll call on that.
Soto Presley?
Yes.
Kasperky?
Yes.
Vejas?
Yes.
Myrick?
Yes.
Hopperidge?
Yes, motion passes, 5 yes. Okay, number 14 is a determination of compliance for Bucky's Fueling Convenience Store. We've got 7905-7920 Indianapolis Boulevard in the Woodmark Gateway Economic Development area, but I believe that might be more on the even side, though. So if I Walmart.
Yeah, I think we agreed on 7920.
If I may, yeah, that address is not correct on the agenda. It is 7920. The 7905 shouldn't be there.
Right, okay, that's what I thought.
If I may go forward?
Yes.
Okay.
Welcome,
Good evening. Scott Yaney, thank you for the opportunity to appear before you all again. I always enjoy that opportunity. This evening, I'm here for Bucks Incorporated, but boy, just getting the news about Stan and just all the things flashing back through my head of, I mean, just the things that Stan did for this city over the years, it's just, it was hard not to be overwhelmed in that moment. I know we all know the flood, but my goodness, just, and just now appearing here and just thinking, you know, of all the times it appeared before Stan at Public Works or all the projects, it's, yeah, sobering, but it reminds us all that we've got larger purposes and keep those in check, right?
He was an elephant, he had
Yeah.
it all up there.
Yeah, I don't know if that repository, I mean, we all relied on that for so many years. Well, moving on, I'm privileged to represent some folks that are here with us this evening. And we're going to talk to you about what is a premier top-of-the-market convenience store, gas station, and car wash. And I think you're going to see from the illustrations, I hope you see some of the detail that I've seen, and I think that you will. This is a beautiful facility. This is something that ultimately is going to reflect really well upon the city, and I'll try to detail a little bit of why and how it fits in here. And we're starting with a unique parcel. And this is an outlot for Cabela's and an Orienta, Indianapolis Boulevard, and Cabela's Drive, and it's a corner parcel that's going to lead into that development. I'll tell you just a little bit about who I'm here with. I mentioned it was Bucks Incorporated, and they, this is a real estate development arm of an entity I'll call Bucks Energy, Buchanan Energy, and the kind of the larger corporate presence. They have a chain of about 200 stores or convenience stores throughout the U.S. Started in Nebraska, they're in Iowa, St. Louis, and also Chicagoland area. Started with one guy in one location, and really quite a success story. And you'll see that it really put a lot of attention and detail into what they do. This is not just a cookie cutter
operation. There's a lot of thought that you will see as we move through this presentation. We've got some folks here with us, and these folks have been working really hard. It's a really good development team, been extremely responsive. I think you will hear that from our city representatives as well. We're going to hear from Richard McMahon, hear from Buchanan with a great tie. Matt Atkins also with Richard. We have, well, let's see, I've got to my back here, I've got Stephen Kudwa, he's the engineer. Pat Daly, I think you folks have probably seen over the years, and Tim Schwartz is also here with Pat on projects. There are other folks too, surveyors and all sorts of members of this team that have been working really hard to get this project right. One of the, driving forces here for the city is we've been working really closely with Brian Poland. Brian wears two hats now. With the BZA in addition to his job as a city planner. We're here ultimately seeking your determination and approval that our plan is compliant with the economic development plan for the Woodmar Gateway Economic Development Area. And there was a lot of thought that went into that document. It's quite a substantial piece, and I think what you'll see is that we do meet the requirements of that plan and that this is fully compatible with that plan, and that's what this commission is ultimately asked to determine here this evening. We are going to have a couple of other steps. If we meet with success here this evening, we've got to then go to the Plan Commission because we're going to talk about a subdivision approval that we will need to do that really lays the infrastructure for further development of this entire site. That Cabela's site that was contemplated some years ago is now starting to actually take place. And this, we think, is going to be a real catalyst to allowing a lot of that to go forward now. And so the infrastructure we're going to talk about in this subdivision plan will contemplate that further development and, in fact, enable it by gaining access and easement rights for vehicular traffic and flow within the entire development. We will also eventually need to obtain approval, detailed approval of this site plan because it's in a PUD, which gives us special requirements in going before the Plan Commission and ultimately gaining approval from the Plan Commission for everything we put in here. And then also related, we will need to go before the BZA because the usage that we seek is a conditional use, which means it must be reviewed and approved by the BZA. And so if we meet muster here, we get to go on, but we have some other stops along the way. So any approval that you folks would give us is conditional upon us meeting the requirements of those other entities. In addition to Brian, we've also worked very closely with Dean Buttons and Stan's successor, as we know, and Kevin Margraf and others included, throughout the city and developing these plans. There have been some extensive team meetings where we've all gotten down and really into the details. One of the things you folks will want to know about is, from an economic perspective, what does this all mean? Before we, they've already had their land acquisition costs. After that, we're talking about $5 million in terms of capital investment, which is going to be have an impact on the tax base. This will be a further shift toward the commercial end. That's previously, this land is not valued, assessed at a high level now. It certainly will be jumping up, and we will have assessed value and tax obligations to the owner that will then flow ultimately to the city. And I think more importantly, well, before one other aspect, people want to know about jobs. Contemplate right now 14 full-time jobs, 7 part-time jobs. So that is certainly part of this component as well. But as we say, this is kind of the entry into further development of that Cabela's project, and we think that this, in fact, will be a catalyst to what follows next, because it will give us the infrastructure and the access, and there's all sorts of technical things that we need to do with vacating old easement rights for utilities and all sorts of things that, you know, we don't think about when we just drive by, but there's a lot of detail that goes into planning something like this so that other things can in fact occur. I think, you know, we have a number of elevations and plans to show, and I think if I turn us over to Richard now, and he can present some of those items very well. If at any point you folks have any questions, want to stop us, please do so at any point along the way, and we'll be here to answer as best we can.
Good evening, members of the commission. My name is Richard McMahon. I work for Steve Buchanan, representative of the company Bucks Inc., which is the development arm of Buchanan Energy. Steve started out as a teenager with his first store in Omaha, Nebraska, and grew it. He's kind of the all-American entrepreneurial story. In 2010, he had sufficient financial wherewithal based on his own company to be able to buy 81 ExxonMobils in the Chicago area when ExxonMobil got out of the market of running their own stores. My job is to rationalize those holdings, to raise and rebuild where we can, and add new stores as we build into the market. We would be considered a super jobber up in the Chicago area with our direct relationship with ExxonMobil. I can be as short or as detailed in this presentation, but I'll kind of move it along so I don't get more detail than we need on this, but I did not know the nature of your organization, your commission when I came in. So we'll start. This is an aerial of what it looks like, and we'll just keep on moving through an elevation. And if you're at the corner of Cabela's in Indianapolis, this is what it would look like if it's approved by you folks. And this is from Indianapolis Boulevard looking on a northwesterly direction. And the site, you know where it is. Let's go past that map. And the zoning, you know, we'll just keep on flipping through the subdivision. We'll stop there. That's the site plan. It's a 7,000 square foot store. The car wash is approximately 2,400 feet. It's one of those where it drags the cars through. There are 10 dispensers underneath the gas canopy, and there's an ancillary canopy with 3 dispensers, and that's for RVs. It's not for 18-wheelers, it's just for RVs, and it'll have either gas or diesel, depending on the size of the RV. We'll keep them separate from the cars. We don't have any variations that we'll be requiring as we move through for setbacks or anything such as that. We have the utility plans all worked out. We'll move beyond that. Light, we comply with the city's lighting requirements, and this is what the building will look like. It is not the line construction, and these are the materials that we use on it. And with my first, you kind of see where it might fit. Stones, you see the pillars in the lower areas, and then brick, and then the metal for the roof on the 3 entrances. There's the sides, there's doors on either side. So in the front, we have 2 doors, and on the sides, we have 1 door on each side. Back of the car wash is well finished. We'll just go through the turning radiuses that were worked out with the community on how we'll handle the stacking. We meet all the stacking requirements. Let's go through the signage, Matt. Let's just and keep on going there. And there, okay, we'll come to the next. That's from where the dike is, or the levee, on Indianapolis Boulevard as you would come into the property on the south side off of Indianapolis. And this is the side view. Front. Side from the north. And it's pretty much what we have to offer, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
It'll probably be a 24/7 operation then?
Yes, it shall be.
And you did say it won't be diesel trucks, the big diesels, just RVs?
Yes, it's not designed for 18-wheelers, and the conditions of the agreement with Cabela's and Walmart don't allow us to have 18-wheelers on there either.
With the trucks still not across the street? Isn't the gas station across the street?
It's down.
Pilot's
That is
across down
Pilot
in your
south.
neighboring community.
Further south,
That's in Highland.
Is there any, you said Chicagoland, is this the style? I mean, certainly, is this what they all look like? Like, will this, people traveling, will this be distinct to them?
This is what we're using as our standard store. There are some sites in the Chicagoland area that are legacy sites that are smaller, and I can't expand them, and we have a smaller version for those sites. But for the ground ups, the brand new ones, we're using this design.
I mean, on this side, it seems like it's the development we've been waiting for out there,
Yeah,
so.
really.
Yeah.
Yes, very impressive.
I found that when I go in these areas, action begets more action. When people see this go up, you'll
Right.
find more developers are interested in being located nearby simply because of the amount of volume of traffic we bring on the site on a daily basis.
I don't know, very thorough presentation, thank you very much.
And you gotta wait for Brian.
I'd like to have Brian Poland come up and give his overview of the project.
Just letting him sit down.
Hello again. Couple of things to go over with the nature of the development. It is expected to be approximately $5 million investment and 14 full-time jobs and 7 part-time jobs. Slight correction, I hate to embarrass our attorney Yaney.
No, you don't.
That the zoning is C4, not PUD, but the Plan Commission is retaining the right to do the development plan approval in this particular area. It is located in, as was stated, the Woodmar Gateway Economic Development Area. That was established in 2005 when the development was contemplated for replacing Woodmar Country Club. A lot of the issues that was being dealt with at that time, the levee construction, the floodplain, there were a lot of issues and how it would affect the development of this property. And over the years, of course, the floodplain has been removed with the levee being in place, and it gives us that opportunity to really change this part of the city of Hammond, take advantage of an interstate interchange, and provide us some of that needed development that we need and enhance Cabela's, enhance the Walmart. The presentation was given about the architectural materials. It brings a variety of materials, not just a uniform material, but a couple of different materials that help gives the building a little bit more character. This is a prominent corner. This is what you're going to see when you're sitting at the traffic signal. So that architectural character is extremely important, how it sets the tone for that entrance of the development. The Walmart building was higher quality in their design, and of course the Cabela's is a very highly ornate design building. Now, of course, at this point, there's still a lot of technical details to be worked out, always landscape issues, site plan issues, but I think we're moving along very well. I'm very happy with our progress, and we should be ready to go forward as quickly as possible. It was stated that we are still working on the subdivision plat, and that there is the conditional use for the fueling station, as well as the development plan approval by the Plan Commission. So in looking at the economic development plan, the premise and the goals of the goals and objectives of the plan is to make sure the new development is compatible to Cabela's and aesthetically, architecturally of high quality. And I think we're definitely in the right direction here. The recommendation, staff recommends that the Redevelopment Commission make a determination that the proposed development of the Buc-ee's is in compliance with the goals and objectives of the Woodmar Gateway Economic Development Plan, subject to, I always have to have my subject tos.
Always.
Always. Approval of the Plan Commission for the re-subdivision, easement releases, and development plan. 2, approval of the BZA for the conditional use permit for the fueling station. 3, approval by the city engineer for the fueling station layout. 4, approval by the city engineer and the sanitary district for the drainage, and approval of the remaining city departments for their respective jurisdictions.
You love it, don't you? You love
Covering
it.
all bases.
Even with with all your subject twos? What's the timeline on something like this?
Well, we're going to have a meeting tomorrow, what's tomorrow, right? Yeah, tomorrow discussing the plat, and I would be able to know that better. But we still got, again, plat approval, development plan approval, BZA, so it's still going to take a while to get through that. I know they are anxious to go as quickly as possible.
I could just do a so
Anybody?
moved.
Well, members of the commission, if it's your desire, then you would make a motion to determine that the proposed development of the Buc-ee's is in compliance with the goals and objectives of the Woodmark Gateway Economic Development Plan, subject to the 5 conditions contained in Mr. Poland's report.
I so moved.
I second that.
Very well said. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Very exciting, new project to that corridor, and so if there's any other questions or discussion? If none, then roll call, please.
Soto Presley?
Yes.
Kespricki?
Yes.
Navejas?
Yes.
Myrick?
Yes.
Poppers?
Yes, motion passes, 5 yes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Number 15 is approval to purchase the Jefferson Hotel.
Members of the commission, we're working on a purchase agreement with the owner of the Jefferson Hotel. Purchase price is $665,000, which is approximately $150,000 less than your appraisals. So we're asking that you approve that purchase for $665,000, and that we can move forward with that sale.
Anybody? Questions? Mr. President, I make a motion for the approval to purchase the Jefferson Hotel in the amount of $665,000.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion and a second for the approval to purchase the Jefferson Hotel in the sum of $665,000. We have a roll call on that.
Soto Presley?
Yes.
Kespricki?
Yes.
Navejas?
Yes.
Myrick?
Yes.
Poppers?
Yes, motion passes, 5 yes. Number 16 is an acceptance of requests for proposals for the purchase of real estate. There's 3 properties listed here, 5174 Morton Court, 5 Rinback Street, and 818-42 Michigan Street.
Members of the commission, you have those 3 properties that you've offered to receive proposals, and we have 2 proposals, one for 5174 Morton Court and one for 5 Rimbaugh, and I'll go ahead and open those. First one being 5174 Morton Court. From Mark Dahlkamp and Mark 76 LLC, offers to purchase the property for the sum of $10,000. And then on 5 Rimbaugh, again, the one proposal or the one submission is from Mark Dahlkamp at Mark 76 LLC. Purchase price for the offer is $60,000. So in kind of keeping with policy, I would refer those 2 responses to staff.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. further questions or discussion?
Soto Pressling.
Yes.
Tesbricki.
Yes.
Navejas.
Yes.
Myrick.
Yes.
Poppers.
Yes. Motion passes 5 yes to refer to staff. Okay, number 17 is an approval of management agreement between Hammond Redevelopment Commission and the Department of Parks and Recreation for the Hammond Sports Complex located at 6600 Indianapolis Boulevard.
Members of the commission, you have a management agreement in your packet that provides that the park department is going to essentially manage the sportsplex. Department of Economic Planning and Development, that's not really their bailiwick. It's more park board sort of items. You could ask if this was premature because the sportsplex is not done yet, but there are things that need to be done before it opens to get management and things in place, as well as potential sponsorships and things of that nature. And for the park board to be able to do that, you really need this management agreement in place first so that they can go about the business of trying to get those sponsorships and doing the things they need to do so that when we are ready to open, we're really ready to open.
I'll be honest, I just assumed it all along.
Commissioner, actually, every like 2 to 3 weeks, I meet with Madison and we go over the development of the sports complex, and Mark Hines has been in those meetings. He's been very cooperative. He has a lot of expertise that he brings to the table. He makes sure that we're within cost. He makes sure that a lot of the costs are very reasonable, the things that we're paying for because of his wealth of experience. So, I mean, it's just a perfect fit for the management of that facility.
Mr. President, I make a motion for the approval of management agreement between Hammond Redevelopment Commission and the Department of Parks and Recreation for the Hammond Sportsplex located at 6600 Indianapolis Boulevard.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can we get a roll call on that then?
Soto Pressling.
Yes.
Tesbricki.
Yes.
Navejas.
Yes.
Myrick.
Yes.
Poppers.
Yes, motion passes 5 yes.
Part-time job strike.
Okay, number 18 is a ratification of right of entry and permission to survey.
Hello again.
Hello again.
Third time tonight, how about that? This is a natural gas pipeline company from Shorewood, Illinois, came to talk to us about having the right of access to Redevelopment Commission property along 136th Street. And they want to just have, in order to do a survey, determine whether or not they can put a natural gas pipeline in this area. This is partially related to, there's been some discussions with NISCO looking at some of our similar property in the area about putting a regulator station in. And it's also part of, increasing the, national network of natural gas, access to natural gas. So it is an agreement that just gives permission for them to walk on our property to do the survey work. It was signed by the president, and we just need ratification of that of the board.
That's what we commonly know in that area as Boy Scout Road?
Yeah, and interestingly enough, and I know this is kind of sidelined, I cannot find any documentation that street was officially renamed. Everybody calls it Boy Scout Road, but there's no ordinance resolution that officially designated it that.
It's better than Petroleum Alley when I grew up. So
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's an improvement.
Oh, okay, okay.
That would be more fitting with this project.
Mr. President, I move for the ratification of right of entry and permission to survey
I second that.
for Boy Scout Road.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the ratification right of entry and permission to survey. roll call on that.
Soto Presley?
Yes.
Kespricki?
Yes.
Navejas?
Yes.
Myrick?
Yes.
Hawbridge?
Yes, motion passes, 5 yes. Number 19 is our reports. We have Africa Tarver, would you like to share anything tonight?
No report at this time.
Okay. Number 20 is our bills, register of claims.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to pay the register of claims. For January 2nd, 2018 through February 6th, 2018. Register of claims R55572 through R55733.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the register of claims dating January 2nd, 2018 through February 6th, 2018. Claims R55572 through claim R55733. Is there any questions or discussion on these claims? Okay, roll call on the claims.
Soto Presley?
Yes.
Kespricki?
Yes.
Navejas?
Yes.
Myrick?
Yes.
Hawbridge?
Yes, motion passes, 5 yes. Okay, number 21, new and unfinished business. Okay, number 22, public comment. If anybody would like to come forward, you can do so now. You have 3 minutes. Speak. Okay, public comment closed. Number 23.
Mr. President, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can you all signify by aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Meeting is adjourned.